So I just wanted to show a funny thing. Every programming language starts you off with something like this. Oh, you can add in this what? Print this and this. Okay, run. 2. Okay, you can add in this programming language. Oh, that's great, right? And then, you try to use a simple addition of some variables, and it shouldn't work because you haven't defined those variables yet. Right, there we go. So, for those of us who've done programming at some point, this makes sense because you have to define the thing first. You gotta do a equals 1, for instance. And you get the 2. This is the output. So that makes sense. But, say that you didn't define it first. This is probably what's confusing to some degree. To beginners. So, if we make a function, add, okay, I think you can do that. And then we just do remove this. Right here. And for some reason, that isn't super clear to beginners. Okay. Well, I'm still a beginner, so yeah, that's acceptable. For some reason, for beginners, this is acceptable. But A plus A is not acceptable. A isn't defined. Okay. Delete that. Run it again. It's working. But wait, what's really going on here? Well, if we show add, and then, we run into the issue again, right? Well then what, okay, we gotta keep that there. And then let's define a, suddenly it works, right? But it's just like, this seeming inconsistency of like, you have to define the variable before you can run this thing right here, this code. You got to define it before you can run it. But if you define the function first and then don't call it, then it's perfectly fine. That's I don't know, it seems like a strange inconsistency sort of thing. And yet, this is actually what you have to do in order to run the function. You got to define the function first, storing it as, I think, an object or a variable or something. I don't know the terminology yet, but you have to define the function before you can run it. But before you can run it, you also have to define the variables to which it pertains. But this still feels like misordered, like, well, okay, how is it the case that I can define it up here, but not, I don't know, it feels like it is being executed, when apparently it isn't. It's just being stored in memory as this code, but it's not actually being used. There's a weird seeming misordering of things, and it's just funny for even me, a beginner, to kind of figure out that, like, but what? I don't understand why it's this case, or it's not this case, or it's that case. It's